We've all heard this phrase, but do we really know what it means? Self-care. I did a bit of research and it turns out my understanding of self-care was not necessarily 100% accurate. I was not completely wrong about what self-care was. I just needed to refine my definition of it. Now, let's see if you're like me and you just need to reshape your understanding of self-care just a little bit more, as I try to do every time. The references of the websites I go to or the books I read are listed below. There are 3 areas for self-care to take place. They are emotional, mental, and physical. Self-care is when a person actively takes care of themselves in these 3 areas. And this is mainly for the promotion of health and the stopping and controlling disease, among quite a few other things, but those are the 2 biggies: promotion of health and the controlling of disease. There's also other things to take into consideration for this, namely your hygiene practices, preferably good hygiene practices, the nutritional factors, what are you taking into your body, exercise, your environment, your society or your community, whatever that may be for you. Last but not least, also medications, because believe it or not, that is part of self-care. The overarching idea of self-care is you need to take care of yourself before you take care of others. An analogy I've heard is charging your cell phone. You wouldn't let your phone go down to 5%, 10% without recharging it. So why are you doing that to yourself? So that was a lot of information. I just said what self-care is. Now we're going to what it is not. Self-care is not something you force upon yourself. If you find that you're forcing it on yourself, it's not self-care. In a like manner, self-care is not something you hate doing or extremely dislike for all you hate word haters out there. Self-care is something you enjoy doing, so if you find that you don't enjoy it, it's not self-care. That's it. That's the epitome of what self-care is. So let's go over it again. And it's ironic that this list is longer than the definitions. Keep it simple, silly. My math teachers loved this acronym because we were supposed to keep everything in math simple. I don't know who else had math teachers like that, but it worked in math, it works in self-care. The idea is these self-care items, actions, whatever it is, will eventually become part of a routine for yourself. So practicality is best. Something simple is always going to be better to be done. Later on it could be built upon, but for the beginning, keep it very simple. Be active, not just in the physical idea of self-care, but also in the preparation of it. Self-care is not when it rains. Self-care is when you watch and enjoy the rain. There is a difference. In other words, it's not what someone else can do for you, it's what you do for you. Be mindful of what you are doing. If you do not like it, automatically not self-care. Self-care items are things that you enjoy doing. Now granted, we all have things that we do that we do not enjoy. I imagine for a lot of people that would include work. It might include cleaning, cooking, you name it. There are plenty of things that we do not like to do, but we have to do. Self-care are the things that we enjoy doing. And that may change from week to week, situation to situation. Something that we enjoyed 2 weeks ago may be something we don't enjoy anymore. Or we may have hated it 2 weeks ago, but now we find peace with it. We may find a bit of joy with it. Finding out what you no longer want to do. This This can be a big one, even though the actions may not be that big. This is a big one, even though the actions of this may not be that big. For example, not cursing at other drivers while you're driving. No longer talking to family members that put you on edge the whole time. No longer looking at your phone as you're about to go to bed. Figuring out what you no longer want to do can be great steps to what you want to take out in your life to make your life more relaxed, more simple, and more fulfilling. So we just did find your no's. Time to find your yeses. This may seem really simple and weird, but so did the no's. So find the yeses. Do you want to start eating your vegetables? It may be a little weird at first, and it may take time for you to enjoy it. But find things that you want to do and be proactive about them. Examples may be eat your vegetables. Say yes to going to bed early so you can actually get the sleep you need. Go on a walk. If you don't like a walk, then find something else to get movement in, because remember, physical is part of this as well. So turn off the lights, close the windows, pull down the blinds, and have a dance party while no one is looking. These are just some little yeses you can add into your life to take care of yourself. And finally, do something happy every day. I do not like walking alone. I live in a safe enough neighborhood. I can walk alone. There's plenty of people in my neighborhood that walk alone. I just don't like walking alone. I do not leave for work at a typical time. I leave for work quite early so I could beat traffic. I've actually stopped talking to a family member of mine. I stopped talking to them because I realized how toxic it was for me to talk to them. I walk my dogs every morning. I'm not alone. I enjoy the time. And sometimes, if I'm not too tired, I walk them at night too. I spend the first 10 to 15 minutes at work with alone time. I get to mentally prepare for the day. I get to think about all the activities I'm doing. But it's me time. It's relaxation time as well. I have dance parties with some of my clients. We just have fun moving around, dancing, doing crazy stuff. So there you go, that's self-care in a nutshell. Seriously, please remember that self-care items, what you do, is fluid. The concept of self-care is not. There may be times that we need to put our needs and wants on a shelf for a short period of time, but eventually we have to take those items off the shelf and recharge ourselves. There you have it. That is self-care in a nutshell. And really, a lot of articles about self-care, it's like one paragraph on what it is, one paragraph of what it's not, and then the rest of the article, which is pretty long, by the way, are just tips and examples. Thank you so much. Do some self-care for yourself today. We'll see what next week brings.